Welcome to the Oral History Podcast, which features stories from the oral history website voicesofoklahoma.com, where Oklahomans have given generously of their time to tell their life story for present-day listeners and for the generations to come. Our entire collection is available at voicesofoklahoma.com. By subscribing to our podcast, you will be notified of new Oklahoma oral history podcasts. So now listen to another interesting storyteller from voicesofoklahoma.com.
After the death of basketball coach Ken Trickey in 2012, the Tulsa World called him one of the most influential and colorful characters in this state's basketball history. Ken played basketball at Middle Tennessee State College, where he was an Ohio Valley All-Conference player for 3 years, is still one of the top 10 scorers for Middle Tennessee, and was elected to the university's Sports Hall of Fame. He returned to Middle Tennessee and became the head basketball coach in 1964. Ken recruited the first African-American athletes to play basketball at Middle Tennessee during the height of the Civil Rights Movement in the South. In 1969, Ken was hired by Oral Roberts to coach the ORU basketball team. He took ORU to the NCAA Final Eight as an independent in 1974. His ORU teams during that time also led the nation in scoring and made 2 NIT appearances in New York City. Upon leaving ORU in 1974, Ken coached at Colorado State University, Iowa State University, Claremore Junior College, Oklahoma City University, and Oklahoma Junior College before returning to ORU, where he finished his coaching career in 1993. Ken was especially remembered for ORU's high-scoring run-and-gun teams of the early 1970s, which helped the young, small school attain national attention and competitive success, including a spot in the Elite Eight in the 1974 NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament. During the early 2000s, Ken became a supervisor evaluator of officials for the Big 12 Conference. In 2010, he was inducted into the Oral Roberts University Sports Hall of Fame. Ken was 79 when he died December 4th, 2012. But now you can listen to Ken Trickey and one of the best basketball players to ever play the game, Richard Fuqua, talk about the success of basketball at Oral Roberts University on the oral history website, voicesofoklahoma.com.
Today's date is April 7th. It's 2011. My name is John Erling. Ken, would you state your full name, please?
Kenneth Franklin Trickey.
Your date of birth?
August 30th, 1933.
So your age today is?
77.
We're recording this in my home here in South Tulsa near 81st and Yale. We're honored to have Richard Fuqua join us. And Richard, why don't you state, well, your full name first, your date of birth, your age, and where you were born?
My name is Richard Fuqua. I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. My birth date is November 11th. I'm 60 years old.
Ken, where were you born?
Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Your mother's name?
It's Evangeline. My father was Emmett Ray Trickey.
Emmett Ray Trickey. What did he do for a living?
Music. He was involved in music most all of his life.
He played instruments?
Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, but to be honest about it, I don't think he played music, but in service in the Army, he was a band leader. And all his time, he was involved in music.
So were you around him when
No, I was not real close to my father because of my mother. My sister now just loved my father, but I wasn't that close because I felt like he had mistreated my mother because he was gone all the time.
Your mother worked to help support the family?
Oh, my mother worked all the time in restaurants. I had a grandmother that spent a lot of time,
Did she spend time looking after you and raising you?
Well, yeah, but I could always get a little money because there were always money in the pockets. My mother, with the tips, I could always go to a movie. But I got into athletics because of a guy who I loved very much. His name was Gene Bland. When I met him in the 7th grade, I just couldn't get over it because he was such a good-looking man. He was dark-complected, and he just was almost what I wanted to be. I was very, very close to him all my life. He's been dead, but his name was Gene Bland. He was a great athlete himself. I spent a lot of time with him.
This was in Cairo, Illinois,
yes.
But you were born in Missouri.
Yes.
And then
moved to Cairo, Illinois.
When you were very young.
Well, I was living in Charleston, Missouri, and then we moved to Cairo. And I was in the 4th grade.
And that's when you met Mr. Bland.
Yes. He was really like a father to me. I spent lots of time with him and at his house. He used to come to all my games.
When did you start actually playing a sport. And was it always basketball?
Football.
You played football first?
Yes, a very good football player. In fact, I thought I was going to play football and basketball. But they said, why don't you miss football for a year and just work on the basketball and then play football the next year? Well, the football never got around after that. I kicked off in college. I could play.
The earliest time you probably played was in elementary?
6th grade, 7th grade.
And
that's all I wanted to do.
So you were born to be an athlete, weren't you?
Never wanted to do anything else.
Did you enjoy school?
Oh, yeah. I was a decent student. Well, I was a good student, but later on, that wasn't one of my priorities as I got a little older. But it was just a great time. It was almost like Huckleberry Finn, because right there where Cairo, Illinois is the Mississippi and Ohio River. Heck, we were in and out of those rivers. I mean, no one had a great place to grow up as I had there at Cairo, Illinois.
So that's what you did, went swimming in those rivers and played baseball probably as kids and that type of thing?
People would come by the house in the restaurant. They'd say, Miss Trickey, they were wanting me to pick up a game because the blacks couldn't play in Cairo. That was back in the days where the black people, they played over on one side of town and the whites had to play on their side. But I could always get a game. It didn't make any difference. We'd go find a game. They might take our goals down because they didn't want us to play playground, and I promised that I wouldn't let them play. And then about 3 days later, they'd be back out there playing again. And Prof. Schultz and my friends, I wanted to play.
Oh, so they didn't want you to play blacks and whites together?
No. They would take the goals down.
So
I was in high school. Took the goals down.
We're talking about, if you're 7, 8 years old, about 1937, 8, and 9, and 1940, and there, that kind of attitude was happening. But you then established a rapport among blacks and whites, and so that kind of bode well for you later on in your life.
Yeah, and it was not anything that bothered us. I mean, the kids, we just didn't get to go to the same school. We had to go to white school, and black kids went to the Sumner High School.
It was all an adult thing then, wasn't it? This business of being separated.
It was that way when I played. We started playing white and black like in 8th grade.
And that was where?
In Chattanooga, Tennessee.
What year are we talking about?
1965.
So you faced a lot of...
Yes, because I went to all-black school from the 7th to the 12th.
You faced a lot of prejudice back then.
Yes.
Even though you were a superior athlete.
Now, when I got in the 9th grade, we was undefeated. That's when the integration came in, and the white school tried to recruit us.
Did they?
No. Nobody went.
As much as the white schools wanted you, you said, no, you didn't want us before.
And I was the best player in the town.
And you chose not to go to their high school?
No.
So what high school was it you went to?
Riverside High School. Yeah.
Riverside High School. Is that where Ken found you?
Right.
Darcy Sims was a high school coach, and he and I got acquainted. We got to be great, great friends.
Well, I'm going to get to that. Let's take you to high school. What was the name of the high school you attended?
Cairo High School.
You were a letterman, I suppose?
Oh, yeah.
And you lettered in which sports?
Track, football, basketball, baseball. Just anything that had to do with the ball.
Was there a particular coach that was important to you in high school?
Oh, Gene Bland. Coach Bland. I met him when I was in the 7th grade. It was in the phys ed class. And that's the first time I'd ever seen him.
But then he was a high school coach?
Yeah.
So you had him as a friend all those years, and then he was your coach in high school?
Yes.
Then you go on to Middle Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm.
You spent your 4 years there, graduated from there. That was a good experience for you? You played basketball for Middle Tennessee?
Yes.
And not football?
I thought I was going to play both sports, but they talked me into just playing basketball, and then I would play football the next year.
And you were so good at basketball, I suppose they thought, why waste your time? What position did you play?
Played guard.
Point guard, shooting guard, you did it all?
Yeah.
So you graduate from Middle Tennessee State. What did you do then, and what did you want to do?
Well, I went in the Army. I was an officer in the service. I spent 2 years in the Army.
Well, you graduated in 1954. The Korean War had just ended. Korean War was on from 1950 to 1953. So you went into the Army.
Yeah.
Why? Because you weren't drafted.
That was just what I did. I was in the service those 2 years, and I never had to go any place except stay right at Fort Knox. They found out I was a basketball player. The next thing you know, I'm playing basketball most of the time, and Then I'm working at Fort Knox, and I'm taking care of all of the sports. I was a second lieutenant, and then I became a first lieutenant. Then I got out of the service, and that's when I went back to teach school.
That was Fort Knox, Kentucky. You weren't all that far from home, really.
No.
That was an easy 2 years for you, and a fun 2 years, I suppose.
Oh, unbelievable.
You come out of the Army, then what do you do?
There was a 2-star general, Paul A. Disney, took a liking to me. It's just one of those lucky things, I guess. General Disney wanted me to stay in the service and wanted to change back to regular Army and the tank corps. And I told him if it was just me, I would stay in the service because I kind of liked the Army. But I'd already made up my mind that I was going to coach for a living.
Somewhere along the line here, had you met your bride, your wife yet?
Met her in college.
And her name?
Peggy McQuitty.
When were you married?
I was a year ahead of her. That spring that she graduated, I was at Culver Military Academy, and I was teaching there. I never had any problem getting a job. It just seemed to be easy.
You knew you wanted to be a basketball coach.
Yeah, because I had been doing that a long time.
So you come out of the Army. Do you begin to look for a basketball coaching job then?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to teach phys ed, physical education, and coach football and basketball.
Your first coaching job was where?
It was at Tullahoma High School in Tennessee. A nice big school. I was there that first year, and my principal and superintendent, he called me and he said, "You've got to come home." I said, "Well, I can't come home just this first year." Prof. Shields, he'd been awfully good to me. He said, "No, you've got to come home. We need you to come home and take care of football and basketball." I asked not to do the football that first year because I hadn't been involved in football for 4 or 5 years. But the intention was that I was going to coach football and basketball, track.
So then you came to that high school. Again, the name of that high school?
Cairo High School. After that, though, I realized that I needed to get that master's degree. So I went back to Middle Tennessee. 9 months, got that taken care of.
Why was it important that you have a master's degree?
Well, it just helped.
Yeah.
In fact, I even thought about going to Peabody and working on a higher degree.
You chose not to do that.
Yeah.
But you got your master's.
Yeah.
Then, how did the Middle Tennessee State job come about?
Well, after that, I didn't have any problem getting a job right there at Middle Tennessee. Coach Murphy was the athletic director and a football coach. Next thing you know, I'm assistant basketball coach. 4 years later, I'm the head coach.
At Middle Tennessee State?
Yeah. I was the assistant coach for 4 years, and then the next year I was there 5 years as a head coach. That's how I met President Roberts, because we flew out to Tulsa. ORU did. Bill White was a coach there, and I had a friend that wanted us to come out to Tulsa.
To play?
To play, because they needed some help. I just would come out there because it didn't have much reputation.
Let's go back to Middle Tennessee State. We talk about blacks and whites here. You recruited blacks that played for the first time at Middle Tennessee State.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I went to see the president. I said, "Dr. Cope, is there any problem?" He said, "You can recruit anybody that you want." And that's when I was able to bring the 2 black kids in. It was Willie Brown and Art Polk. Willie Brown and Art Polk were 2 great players.
Were they playing right there?
One of them was playing in Kansas City, and one of them played in Nashville. They were freshmen.
From the community or from the college or students, any pushback?
You know, not really, John, but yeah, they didn't really get after me, but I could tell there was some undertow.
But these 2 ball players, they were obviously stars for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
They start winning games.
Oh, yeah.
You start establishing a good record there at Middle Tennessee State.
Well, we struggled in the beginning, but when I got the kind of kids that we were getting, you could tell that we had something that was going to happen.
Yeah. Somehow you got connected with ORU. They wanted you to come out here and play. This was in the 60s. They hadn't started a basketball program yet, had they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they had.
Bill White had a team. They were 4 years. The basketball was 4 years. Bill White was the coach. There was a friend of mine named Benny Purcell. Bill White knew Benny Purcell. I got a call from Benny Purcell, and he said, "Would you do me a favor?" He wanted me to play Titans. I said, "No, I can't do that." And they said, "Well, do him a favor." So I did. I said, "Okay." But I don't want them to come to where we were because I just didn't want to do that. We played this team at ORU.
Did you beat them?
Yes. High school. Well, yeah.
You were intrigued by the campus and everything that was going on there.
Not really.
No?
Not really. I wanted to find out some things, not anything to do with ORU. I called President Roberts, and he called me back. He said, Coach, would you come out and visit? Would you be interested in coming to Oral Roberts University? And I was really trying to see how strong that maybe I was going to be at Middle Tennessee and this kind of thing. So I went to see my athletic director, and I said, I've gotten a call from President Roberts. He would like for me to come out and look at Oral Roberts University. And I said, okay. So I fly out there, and I see this building. We didn't have a very good gymnasium. But anyway, it was okay. And President Roberts was just unbelievable. He just said would do about anything to get me to come. He wanted to know about my team, the team that played. Mm-hmm. That's what he wanted to do. He wouldn't hardly let me leave, and I had to get on the plane to fly home. When I get back home, then that's when I got a hold of President Roberts. I really wasn't interested, but I was trying to see what was happening around me, too. President Roberts really wanted me to come because of my team. We had come there and played, and he just couldn't understand how we had a team as good. Mm-hmm. I got hold of Bob Brooks, and I said, Bob, would you want to fly to Tulsa? We might have a great job. Brooks said, well, I'm not going to Tulsa. And I said, well, just come on, go and fly out there. We'll just fly out there and see what it's going to be like. Brooks can't turn it down. Brooks didn't have any money. He wasn't making any money. And I said, let me tell you what we'll do. Bob, you'll be taking care of all of the SID stuff. He was doing that. But he was helping. I mean, He would do whatever I asked him to do.
Bob came out of Tennessee.
He came because of me. I brought Bob Brooks out there. Richard will tell you that.
Yeah.
This comes up every now and then about all that stuff. But Bob did do some things after I was gone.
Did you know Bob, Richard?
Well, I was there, yeah.
Yeah.
You were here at ORU already when Bob came.
I was here before he got here. And he came, I think, my sophomore, junior year.
When I go out there, President Roberts had a house. He told Bob, if you'll come, we have a nice home for you. And when Bob saw this nice home, that's what he wanted to do. I had a house, a beautiful home, right up there on the hill. I was as close as from here to down there to President Roberts' place.
See, you were living in that compound.
Yeah, and Bob lived down the street.
You decided then to take the job with Oral Roberts because he just made it real attractive, didn't he?
But let me tell you, on Sunday morning, for some reason, we didn't go to church that Sunday because usually we went and the kids. I'm sitting there, and I said to Peggy, I'm not going to do this.
You're not going to go to ORU?
No. I was going to write it. And in fact, I still got that letter someplace, I think. Anyway, the thing was that I wasn't going to do it. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, I said, Peggy, I told President Roberts that I'd come. I said, why don't we go on out there, and if we don't like it, we can come back home and take a job in high school or something. You know, I just felt like that I told him that I was going to do this.
So you and Peggy come out here and visit.
Yeah, and Bob Brooks. Brought Bob Brooks out there. He came back out there. That's how Bob got there. And Bob did a lot. He did brochures for me.
When you and Peggy come to meet with Oral Roberts, he put the charm on you, didn't he?
Well, it wasn't something like that. President Roberts was unbelievable. And Richard would tell you, President Roberts was just around me all the time.
All our practice.
He'd stop by the house. All of a sudden, I could hear a car, and he'd be pulled up by the curb there. Just come right in. If I wasn't there, he'd come on in and see if Peggy, what she was up to. He had more fun than he'd ever had in his life. Now, that's what that was all about. These people didn't understand this. I'm talking about the people there at the university. They couldn't figure out why we came out here, and all of a sudden, President Roberts is with me all the time.
Let's just say here, as we talk about Bob Brooks, that here we are, the 7th of April, and Bob Brooks passed away on Tuesday evening, April 5th, 2011, just 2 days ago. He was 79 years old, and he stayed in Tulsa, and he lived here for the rest of his life.
Yes, and he was more inclined to be there than I was. I really cared for President Roberts, but I had made up my mind that I was going to leave after the 4th year, not the 5th year. I told Dean Clark. Dean and I went to play tennis. I said, Dean, I'm going to tell you this because I got to tell somebody. This is my 4th year, but I'm going to leave next year. He said, you're not going to do that. I said, yes, I am. I'm going to get a divorce and I'm going to leave. Had nothing to do with another woman. I just was not very happy. I wanted to do something else.
When you came here then, you accepted the job of the OR. You brought a number of players with you.
A ton of them.
You brought along Haywood Hill.
Yes.
From the Paducah Junior College National Championship team.
Right.
You brought Milton Vaughn.
Yes.
Most valuable player at Southeastern Illinois Junior College.
Yeah.
Brother of Chico Vaughn of the American Basketball Association Pipers. You brought Larry Baker.
Yes.
You brought Jesse Traylor.
Yes.
And you brought this man right here.
Yes.
Richard Fuqua, from the same championship Tennessee high school team of 68 and 69.
These players were all buddies.
Richard, tell us about that. Did it take a while for Coach Trickey to convince you guys to come out here?
See, when I first met the coach, he was coming to sign Larry Baker and Jesse Traylor. And I was still visiting universities and stuff. I met Coach and stuff, and he talked to me, and he changed my mind, and I decided to come with him.
What was that like when you came to Tulsa, that experience at first?
I mean, it was different because I came from an all-black school. When I got to Oral Roberts, it was 99% white.
Was that tough for you?
It was different. It wasn't tough. People out there was wonderful.
They accepted you?
Yes. It was the best school I could have went to.
Did President Roberts talk to you, to the other blacks, to make you feel comfortable?
Yes. He would talk to us like once a year. He would have a dinner at his house. The whole team would go to his house and stuff.
Coach had to make you feel good to bring such star-quality players here to Tulsa, like Tulsa had really never seen before.
The first thing we did, we didn't have any way for them to get around.
They didn't have cars?
We were over here on the
south side,
and they can't get over to the north side. President Roberts said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to build a dormitory. And the next thing I know, he's got them up there building places.
See, when we first came here, one of the blacks staying outside. We couldn't have to find no apartments.
Because they didn't have any place on campus yet for you to stay.
Right. I was married.
What did you do to find a place?
I don't know who found the apartment, but they found the apartment.
How close was it to ORU campus?
Oh, we were real close. It was
Right
probably
there.
about 71st and Lewis.
And then they built a dormitory for the athletes.
Right.
So
The thing was built in like 6 months. We had that thing fixed.
what did you do about transportation?
Coach had one of the trainers would come and pick us up and bring us to school.
Was that kind of...
It was unusual because I couldn't drive. My family never had a car. Coach learned me how to drive when I was in school.
Where did you play your games?
In the old gym.
It was the field house.
Field house, yeah.
And let me tell you, you can't believe this. The first thing I did, I had to build something in between the doors because it was so darn cold, and they had to stay outside. So we had things painted on there where we knew exactly how many seats we had. Remember that, Richard?
Yeah, I remember.
We painted that thing. There wasn't anything in there at ORU. And the next thing you know, I've got that thing painted. President Roberts, he never said no. He'd come in there and I'd have it painting.
Were you down there painting yourself?
No, I get people there that would do this.
See, when we first came, they were averaging like about 400 or 500 people. We would sell out. I think the gym will hold about
Look at the legs. where they're
5,000,
hanging over.
6,000.
After about 4 or 5 games, his first year, that thing all of a sudden is full.
Standing room only.
Packed out. That all came right out of those kids. There wasn't anybody else. President Roberts, he'd say, where's my Pepsi Cola? He'd come in. I mean, he was wonderful. He was just thrilled to death.
We had people coming from the north side, it was black and whites all together.
Let me tell you, we had all of the black people. Black people weren't playing over Tulsa.
At TU, you mean?
At TU.
Right.
All of a sudden, the black people were coming in droves.
Mm-hmm.
And we should say that was in 1969 to 73 that you were playing there. So that's the era Well, this is kind of a new thing then. The thing I think that perhaps got the attention of the public, it was this kind of run-and-gun style that you brought to the game.
I can explain that to you. First of all, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Bob Brooks, that was something that Bob Brooks thought up, and he liked it. We run and gun. I said, why don't we just say we run and shoot?
You didn't like run and gun. Okay.
I mean, why don't we just call it run and shoot? I mean, that just sounded better to me.
Okay, but the point is, your game was a very fast-paced shooting game.
Yeah, we pressed 90 feet, brush the ball down the court.
As a matter of fact, Richard, you would shoot from maybe just a few steps beyond midcourt.
Yeah, I had good range.
If they had the three-point basket then, you'd have been really
I probably
scoring.
about 40, 50.
As it was, the team, ORU, averaged 105.1 points per game during your junior year, Richard, of 71 and 72. You personally averaged 35.9 that season, still ranks as ORU's second leading scorer with 3,004 points.
Yeah, but they didn't get the three-point. They should have had an asterisk when they started the three-point. All right, we're going to start having a three-point, but there's going to be an asterisk because it's not fair. It's not fair. If he had that three-point shot, my gosh, what would he have?
Well, as I think you've said, would have averaged 46 to 48 points a game with a three-point line.
Yeah.
But the three-point basket came on in the 1980s. The point is, you took about 34, 35 shots a game.
Yes.
And were a prolific scorer, and all these people from Tulsa heard about all this, and that's what started packing the gymnasium.
Right.
Yeah. The mayor came to see us play. I mean, all of a sudden, we didn't have any room. I'd give them my seats.
I'm pointing out for those who are listening, Richard, your 35.9 average was the 19th highest in NCAA Division I history. You averaged 31.8 as a sophomore in 70 and 71, 27.1 over the course of your 111-game ORU career. You're too modest. I wanted to say that for everybody. Those are the facts.
Oh, yeah.
That this is one fine basketball player we're sitting here with today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Plus playing on a knee that had to have surgery, and not because I love him. He's the best of all time. He's the best. I haven't seen one.
They would have added more to the NCAA scoring numbers, but your junior season you finished second in the nation in scoring, but since Oral Roberts University did not gain NCAA Division I status until 71, and because the school was an independent, not affiliated with an athletic conference, your career points and average totals do not go down in the men's basketball record books as Division I accomplishments.
Right.
In February 71, you scored 60 points in a game against the University of the South, which also does not go down in Division I history.
Right.
So that should also be taken into account.
We didn't want to be in any conference. And we never wanted to be in a conference. We never. That was not my deal.
Yeah.
And that was never put in there all the time I was there.
No. About Richard, then in 72, you were named the NCAA Men's Basketball All-American. You were on the consensus second team. I point this out here because the consensus first team was Henry Bibby, Dwight Lamar, Bob McAdoo, Ed Ratliff, Tim Riker, and Bill Walton. Right?
Big time.
Right.
So you were on the consensus second team as a junior with Barry Parkhill, Jim Rice, Bud Stallworth, and Henry Wilmore. They were from Michigan, Kansas, Louisville, Virginia, and here you have Oral Roberts University in all of that.
Right.
So those were great honors.
Yes.
I also have records here of all-time records. Your 60 points that you scored against University of South, February 1971. So if you look up the list, 65 points, Anthony Roberts eclipsed you by 5.
Yeah.
But we have Pete Maravich at 61, Wayman Tisdale at 61, Elgin Baylor scored the same amount as you did, 60 points. The great company that you were in as you scored those 60 points. Then we go higher, but Pete Maravich at 59 and Rick Berry, 59. Bob Foothills Kurland, who I've interviewed, 58 points. That's the kind of crowd that you're in the record books with that 60-pointer. Richard, talk to us about those years then and how much fun they were for you and what was going on, because you could see You come in and this place is crowded. This is packed.
When I first came here, Coach called me in the office and told me, Richard, you ain't shooting enough. Because the team I played on in high school, we had won back-to-back state championships, and we were blowing teams out. I averaged about 20-something points. When I came out here, I was used to playing that role, just kind of balance scoring and stuff. So Coach called me in one day and told me that I wasn't shooting enough. And that's kind of when it started.
So you said, all right, I'll show you.
After that, I started scoring a lot of points.
What position were you playing?
I played guard.
And how tall were you?
I'm 6'4".
You're still 6'4".
Yeah, still 6'4".
Coach, you told him to start shooting.
Yeah, I told him if he didn't shoot, I was going to sit him down. Not really, but I wanted him to shoot that ball because he could do it. He could take off at the half line, behind the half line. And I used to have people say, Coach, how do you do that? I said, well, you wanted me to have him shoot one? Well, yeah. Tell Richard to shoot one. It was that kind of thing. We were trying to really develop a big-time program. Mm-hmm. We had 12 players. Richard was one. The next one was two. The next one was three. 4 wasn't doing much. 5 didn't do much. 6 didn't do too much. They were good players. I don't mean that they weren't doing much. But he's the guy that was shooting the ball. Yeah. And to this day, I don't believe the way they play.
Richard, shooting just beyond the midcourt, is that something you did in playgrounds? Where did you start perfecting that? It started
at playground, but shooting came easy to me. I always could shoot. But I put a lot of time into it. I played basketball 7 days a week, rain, snow, my hand froze, because I loved it.
In your elementary grades, you were playing ball then?
I started playing basketball when I was in 3rd grade.
And that's what was always your love. It wasn't any other sport.
I played nothing else. I love to watch football and baseball. I only played basketball.
As an independent then, was it easy to pick up on games?
That's all a misnomer. It's a damn misnomer about it. Notre Dame plays without that.
But were you able to get games?
Sure.
Who did you play during those years?
I'd have to look it up, but Lord, I had a lot of friends. We played Wisconsin. The guy was a friend of mine. First of all, we wanted to go to New York. You remember? Yeah. You remember we went up there?
And okay, who did you play there?
First game we played Memphis State, and then the next game we played St. John.
Was that a tournament that was set up?
NIT.
Oh, in the NIT in New York. Mm-hmm. All right. That would have been in your...
my junior year.
We would also play other schools that would go up there and play. We could get those people up there to play us. But out here, some of them thought we weren't good enough.
You tried to get games with OU and OSU?
They wouldn't play us.
Why wouldn't they play you?
We would beat them.
They were afraid.
Well, and I'll tell you, when I was at Oklahoma City University, we beat Oklahoma and Oklahoma State on Saturday and Monday. Was when I coached at Oklahoma City 2 years.
After you left ORU?
Yes.
But when you were at ORU and an independent and not in a league at all, it was tough to pick up on some of these games because they were afraid that maybe...
No.
Well, OU and OSU wouldn't play you.
Well, so what? It did make Abe Lemons. We never could get Abe Lemons to play. Never could get him to play.
Why wouldn't he play you?
Well,
Abe Lemons was the coach at OSU.
I called him up and I talked to him, and finally he'd say, Trick, don't call us. We ain't going to play you. But later on, he wanted to play us because he was struggling. Sure, there were some of those people, but we had people coming here to play from California, from New York, from Chicago. We didn't have any trouble. That's a misnomer. A lot of these people think that. I'd be an independent now if it's me. I want my team to go to Chicago to play.
How about Tulsa University back when Richard was there? You didn't play TU.
No.
Tulsa didn't want to play us, wouldn't play us. They finally played us one game there, and we lose by 1 point.
When you were there, Richard?
No, we never played Tulsa.
Never?
That was the fifth year.
All the 4 years you were there, TU would not play you?
No, but the fifth year, they played us.
After he had graduated?
They played.
And then
but we had all those good players.
You still had, because Anthony Roberts had come along by that time, too, so he was still playing.
Yes.
How did Anthony Roberts come to...
Because of this man.
You know, we're from the same high school.
Okay. So you probably did the recruiting of Anthony Roberts.
Me and Coach went down there and talked to him. So he had signed with the University of Tennessee.
Tell us about how you convinced him to change his mind.
You know, he kind of looked up to me because back home, you know, like I said, we had won the state back-to-back, and we were the 4th-ranked team in the nation. And he heard a lot about me. I know this sister. Back home, people think a lot of me. He kind of admired me, too. So it was kind of easy, because I came out here. He wanted to come.
So then you have Richard to thank for doing this recruiting.
Yes.
Me and Coach never had a problem.
No.
I had too much respect for him.
In fact, I'll tell you the thing I'm really disappointed in that I did. He was married, and he had a little girl. He was taking her to the hospital, and I didn't know that, but he wasn't at practice on time, which was stupid on my part. I should have found out exactly what happened.
So you got on him because he was not at practice, and you didn't understand the reason.
No, we just found out my daughter had meningitis.
Yeah, but that was one of those things that I thought he didn't show up. But he didn't miss a time. Never missed a day. I don't think he ever missed a class. This thing with President Roberts was just unbelievable. And we would be up to his house, all of us. He'd have them praying, and it was a wonderful time.
And it was luxury. We had our own plane. We fly in. Where I come from, we never had nothing like that. We came out of visit school. They picked us up in the limousine. That's big time where I come from.
We should point out that Oral liked basketball because he played basketball.
Right.
And it was while he was playing basketball when he was 16 that he collapsed and they discovered he had tuberculosis. He thought that basketball was good public relations for his school.
Oh, yeah.
Did he come to practice?
Oh, Lord,
All
yes.
time.
Yes.
All time.
Did he ever offer advice?
Not to me, he didn't.
Not to me either.
But he would just come there and watch.
Oh, now I'll tell you what he might do. He might be saying a little something back here in the back or something, but no, that was just part of our game. It wasn't something where he was a nuisance.
We go play. He'd be on plane with fly the game with us. He was a very, very down-to-earth man.
Yeah. I never got on the plane and go sit down with him until I was asked. Because sometimes he would be doing some work.
On the plane, you mean?
On the plane.
Right.
Now, some of them...
They would hover around him.
They'd strut around. And also, if President Roberts wasn't there, Bill Jernigan and some of them, they figured they could be the number one guy. I had a little manager, and he'd just walk by and says, you're in the wrong seat. He said, Coach Trickey, that's his seat. But if President Roberts doesn't go, that's Coach Trickey's seat. I mean, it was that kind of thing. Well, I didn't care where it's seat. I had people on that plane that I didn't have a seat because I had too many people. Had too many people.
Did he ever join you on recruiting visits?
Well, right there in Nashville. David Vaughn. Well, Lord, yeah.
He went to preach at Dave Vaughn, Daddy's church.
Yeah.
Who's David Vaughn? And talk to us about that.
Dave Vaughn was out of Nashville. He played at Cameron. They had won back-to-back state championship, too, and everybody was trying to recruit him. Matter of fact, I think he had signed with Memphis State, and then Coach got him.
With David Vaughn, did you bring Oral?
Yeah. I got to go in with David's grandfather. He really wanted David to go to ORU. David Vaughn was trying to go someplace else.
And Dave Vaughn was married to Larry Finch's sister.
Larry Finch's sister.
Coach at Memphis State.
Okay. Yeah. So then David Vaughn committed to Oral Roberts. Was it tough recruiting players because of this code of conduct, the code of honor, and all that?
Never bothered me. If they didn't want to come, fine, I'll go find it out.
So then was it tough? Did some people turn you down because you had to sign a statement?
The honor code was just a letter of intent.
A letter of intent.
Okay.
I really didn't even care about giving those things. If you don't want it, fine.
You mean the written statement saying that you don't?
To me, it's ridiculous. If I went to Chattanooga or went someplace and didn't want to come, well, I'll go find another one.
Another player.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Oral Roberts join you at high school games to scout a prospect?
He and Richard once or twice might go to see a game, but they never interfered with anything. And I swear, I'll put my hand on the Bible, he knows what I'm saying. If they started getting in my business, I just disappear.
Yeah.
But it wasn't President Roberts. You ever know the guy that was the doctor? The guy that started hanging around with President Roberts and built the City of Faith, Jim Winslow.
Yeah. Dr. Winslow.
Oh, yeah. Boy, he really was trying. And he did. He got in. The president let him do that, but he couldn't get that with me. Winslow, we were going in at the half, and we get in there, and he came out, and I said, Winslow, did you give, the left-handed guard that was real good,
Sam McCants.
I said, did you give McCants a shot? And he said, yeah. And I said, you get the hell out of here and don't ever come back again. I do not give shots to anybody. I don't do it to parents, and I don't do it to the doctors. If he can't play, then I'm not going to put him in. That's just not part of my...
So was it a steroid type of thing, that shot that he
had
was
to do a
getting?
knee. He took a shot in the knee at the half. Oh, and I said, if I lose this game, you better start running. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But see, they all were kind of wanting to think that they were... And the kids used to laugh at them.
So you have to be around how they were trying to get close to the president, you know. And you could see it.
Everybody wants to be around Oral, right?
Yeah, they were trying to get close to him.
We should point out, too, about Anthony Roberts' record. From 73 through 77 during his 4-year career, he averaged 21.7 points, 7.4 rebounds per game, including a senior season, which he averaged 34 points, 9.2 rebounds. He's only one of 2 players in the National College Athletic Association Division I history, along with Hall of Famer Pete Maravich, to score 60 or more points in a single game versus a Division I opponent more than once. Roberts scored 66 points on February 19, 1977 against North Carolina A&T and 65 against Oregon on March 9th of 1977. So that's the kind of player he was, and we had them right here in Tulsa at ORU. I mean, it was an astounding talent that you originated and brought here, and obviously Richard helped in all that.
Anthony was great to play.
Yeah. Then we come to this NCAA tournament where the Titans upset Louisville at the Mabee Center in round 16. Can you comment on that game, Coach?
Yeah, we beat Louisville, and we also beat...
Syracuse.
To get to those games.
Yeah, they beat Syracuse, then they beat Louisville.
You beat Syracuse first,
right?
And then at the Mabee Center, you upset Louisville. 96-93.
Right.
Then Kansas beats Creighton 55-54 in the semifinals. Eddie Sutton was coaching Creighton at that time, so he almost beats Kansas. But then we come to the big game where Kansas beats ORU 93-90, and that was in overtime.
We were leading the whole game. They came back.
Kansas rallied from a 9-point deficit over the final 4 minutes and 47 seconds of regulation time. Kansas then survived when Al Boswell for ORU missed a last-second shot and then won in overtime as their super sub Tommy Smith scored 2 baskets in the final 44 seconds.
Right.
Sam McCants scored 30 points, and Anthony Roberts had a key tip-in and 2 foul shots as ORU rallied past Louisville in the other semifinal. Any outstanding memories of that game that came so close to beating Kansas that would have put ORU in the Final Four? Can you remember some of those feelings?
I can remember, we had to leave. We started turning the ball over. We were playing great at first. Then at the end of the game, we started making mistakes, and then they started making shots and stuff. It just was a great game.
And we should point out that Ted Owens was the coach of Kansas in that major game. So close. Do you remember after the game if Oral came around and visited with the team and you...
Yeah, but I promise you, it did not affect me, that game. I mean, it was over, and I'm there the next day cleaning out my locker and everything. I wasn't unhappy.
When the Titans upset, because that was an upset.
Oh, yeah, big upset.
To beat Louisville.
Oh, yes.
We don't have to talk about this, but you were pulled over by police and charged with a DWI. If you don't want to talk about that at all, that's fine.
I'll tell you exactly. Jim Bratton was there.
Who's Jim Bratton?
He's like a brother to me, one of my teammates in high school. And he was with me. I had not eaten. I was tired because there was a lot going on. I walk out with my friend Jim Bratton, and there's a police car. I couldn't make this up. Right over here was a policeman.
Highway Patrol?
Patrol. And I saw him there. And Jim said, the Highway Patrol is there. I said, hell, I ain't done nothing. And I had not been drinking. I don't give a damn what they say. The next thing I know, this guy pulls me over. And just like it was today, I couldn't do this heel toe thing.
Oh, he asked you to walk the line.
Bratton was, well, what's he done? So he takes me down to the police. And he's going to give me a...
breathalyzer?
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking it was anything. Well, I haven't done anything. I don't know that this happened, but there are people who think that somehow it could have happened with somebody from Tulsa because we were about to ruin Tulsa at this time. If we win that thing...
The next game, you mean?
Well, the whole thing. I mean, what we're doing.
So do you think you were set up on this?
I don't know, because I wouldn't even... I mean, I swear to goodness that I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you be that damn dumb, I guess, on my part? If I'd have just gotten in the car and Jim Bratton...
Let Jim drive.
Yeah. I got on the phone and called Bobby Seacrest, who's one of my dearest friends. He called his big-time friend, and he came up there. He said, hell, he's not drinking. But there was a deal going on to that. But you can't get people to believe that because they laugh. And there were a lot of people who thought...
Are you saying you didn't drink at all, or you had one drink?
No. When I go in this place, I swear to God, I was ahead of that whole thing. And I stopped in different places just to see who was there. J.V. Haney and Terry Scott, now they were drinking. Those guys were drinking. But I was not drinking. Did you not take anything? No, I didn't take anything.
But then they did a breathalyzer on you.
Well, let me just tell you, that ain't hard to do.
But it came out was a DWI, and it had to be terribly embarrassing.
No, yes, I guess. But I took that just like I've done all my life. When that thing happened, I had already made my deal that I was leaving. And I ended up coaching that last game.
You did. Did Oral speak to you when this all came out?
Oh, yeah.
What did he say to you?
Oh, he was wanting me to stay. He didn't want me to leave. And he'd give anything for me not to go. And I'm not so sure that that may have been part of all this. Because that had already been told.
There was no drinking in the honor code, and so I was just wondering if Oral came to you and said, hey, don't worry about it. You got a big game coming up, and let's just move on to that game.
All right, but hell, I wasn't drinking. I wouldn't do that there at the school. There was some shenanigans about that there. But, boy, they like to jump on that, real quick.
Y'all was in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And getting ready to play Kansas.
Yeah.
Just big press.
Right. That was a big, big story, and you were caught in the midst of all of that and had to be tough.
I just handled it just like I would do anything else.
You just had to put that out of your mind as you went to coach the team for this big game with Kansas.
When that happened, I walked up to President Roberts' house and knocked on the door, and I said, I want to talk to you. I said, this is not going to be the right thing because Jack Sutter is going to get caught up in all this. That was my assistant. And a good one. I said, I need to coach this team tomorrow. So we were talking, and that was all it was.
So you went to Oral's house?
Sure. Just walked up there.
You told him right away what happened?
Well, yeah.
He never questioned whether you should coach the game?
No. Why would OR ever want me to come back and coach at ORU again?
Right.
Why?
You left for Iowa State. Mm-hmm. Was there any pressure for you to leave ORU?
Oh, I had already resigned there. I was resigned there with 10 or 12 games left I was going to finish with.
Why would you leave when you were so successful? I mean, you were almost into the Final Four.
I wanted out. John, I wanted out. When you do what I had to do, all this stuff, I wanted just to be a basketball coach and not have to do all of the other stuff. I was wore out. I loved President Roberts. I've never done anything but call him President Roberts. I've never called him Oral. But he tried every way in the world. Ruth Rooks told me later he just never got over that.
That you left?
Yeah. He and I were unbelievable.
You had a close relationship with him, didn't you?
Yeah. He would have taken me back. They were calling me. I was at the NCAA, and Bill Connors called. He said, the word is that you're going to come back after all this. I said, I don't know where that's coming from, but I'm not coming back if I don't get a job. That's not what I want to do.
You go to Iowa State, and then over the next 13 seasons, ORU went through 5 coaches, bad publicity. The team was placed under a 1-year NCAA ban in 80-81 under Coach Ken Hayes for recruiting and other violations. Ken Hayes was fired at Christmas time. Bad public relations. in 82. I, of course, remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It would seem to me that in the eyes of the public, the program never, ever came back to what it was in the days when you two were there. That firing of Hayes at Christmas time just put a nail in the coffin of ORU basketball in this town. I came in 76. That was Anthony Roberts' time.
Right.
And I suppose it was with you, too. The place to be seen was at the Mabee Center for your games.
Yes.
Everybody would come up for that buffet lunch, dinner in the evening, and everybody in town, if you wanted to be seen, that's where you'd be.
At Oral Roberts game.
And I got in on some of that. And hardly anybody was going to the TU games or anything else.
Everybody was coming to Oral Roberts game.
And they all came there. But when Ken Hayes was fired, that all went away. Then Ted Owens, he had 2 scandal-marred seasons. ORU gets rid of Owens. So we have all of this going. So you returned, and there's more on this, but you came back in 1987. Why did you?
I didn't particularly want to come.
Where were you coaching?
I was coaching there at the
Were you at OCU then?
The junior college, in President Roberts. You know, that's that stuff again. He wasn't going to let it go. I told Ted, he's not going to let it go. I wasn't trying to get Ted Owens' job. I didn't want his job. I could have helped Ted Owens a great deal. I wasn't into trying to be the head basketball coach or anything else.
No, but they wanted Ted Owens to move on, and it wasn't because of you. It was because of these violations. Then Oral wanted you to come in as a coach. So did that take a long time to convince you to come back?
Yeah. First of all, I knew that it wasn't going to be like it was, because the thing that hurt, I think, is when they tried to go into these conferences. I would have never let that happen. I would have never let it happen.
But wasn't it a way for them that if they win their conference, they get an automatic bid to the NCAA?
No, that's what people say. You say, why would you want to go back and be the coach? Because I could get those 12 or 14 big-time games, and then I could have some local teams. Maybe you could play around. But no. This Summit League? Oh, no. No, that's not what this is all about.
But isn't that because if they win that Summit League tournament, then they get automatically bid, and that's what drove this.
They want to get the automatic bid,
Right.
They all say that.
But it's true, though, it is.
No, I don't think it's true. How often have they gotten it?
Well, that's their fault, but the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there.
But you've got a rinky-dink schedule. Why would you want that? We wanted to play big. Always play big. Brooks, I love Brooks, but that would be the kind of thing he'd like. I mean, why would you want to be one of those rinky-dink conferences? I mean, just think about it.
It's only because if they win that conference, then they get automatic bid to the NCAA, and that's what drives that. And it's tougher probably to get recognized or ranked if you're an independent, I believe. You guys would know better than I, but that's got to be the reason that they go into that.
Well, I've never believed it. I just think there's enough good teams. They need teams. Honest to goodness, they need teams.
Richard, what did it mean to you to be able to be around Ken and play for him, and how he influenced your life?
He let me be me. You know, I'm not a real outgoing guy, but me and Coach connect. You know, he understood me. I understood what he wanted from me, and he understood what I want from him. He one of the finest men that I ever been around. My mother liked him. All the players liked him because he's down to earth too. You know, he can relate.
Was he able to push you like in games and encourage you to play better?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because he always is tell me. And the guys I played with wanted me to shoot the ball. One no jealousy. The guy would love to get me the ball, you know. We came from a game and I ain't get the ball enough, and Coach Trickey called a meeting and told him that if I didn't get the ball more, that he going to ship a lot of them out of here.
Oh, so it was feed the ball to Richard, right?
Yes.
And let him shoot.
Yes.
Your best player. Why would you not want your best player? And I watch those guys. I don't pay them near the attention anymore. But you've got 5 guys, and your 5th guy ends up with the ball about half the time.
But because you were such a prolific scorer, Richard, wasn't there a lot of double teaming on you?
I got double team, triple team. Sometimes they have 3 men, and they leave guys on the goal just to stop me.
John, I've got my arm around Richard Fuqua, and I'm walking on the gymnasium.
The floor?
Yes. And I said, Richard, do you know what the record is in this building? And what that would mean to us? And he said, yes. I said, but 50 points? He got 48.
You mean in another location?
Yeah.
You'd walk into a gymnasium and say, do you know what the record is in this place?
Yes.
Okay, now go beat it.
Yes.
Anthony Roberts never played on the same team you did?
No, I'm 4 years ahead of Woods.
You're 4 years ahead.
When I got through playing, he was a freshman.
He played 1 year for me, and he spent the rest of those 3 years at my house. He just...
he died like when you left.
Yes. I loved Anthony. I tried every way in the world to keep him off of that stuff. But when they got it that night, he wasn't doing anything.
We should say, first of all, Anthony was selected in the first round in 1977 of the NBA draft. Mm-hmm. Denver Nuggets selected him with the 21st overall pick, and he spent his first 3 NBA seasons with Denver, eventually waived by the Nuggets and signed by the Bullets. And so he played for a number of years in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But he couldn't take care of his money and stuff.
Anthony was shot and killed while he was arguing with 2 men in the parking lot outside his apartment complex on March 29, 1997 in Tulsa. He was 42 years old at the time. Do you know if that argument was about money or what that was all about?
I don't know.
I think I know about it. I don't think that he was involved in anything. Those guys, they were coming this way. He wasn't trying to push over somebody. But these 2 or 3 guys, they were running their mouth. Those 2 guys pulled out a gun and killed him.
Tragic. After your career here at ORU, did you try for the NBA?
No, I went to camp, but my knee was tore up. I left, came back, had knee surgery, and then just gave it up.
So then what did you do?
I started working for the Tulsa Housing Authority, and I ran the rec program. I was the director of one of the rec centers.
What are you doing today?
I work for Tulsa County, and I'm a detention counselor.
Who do you deal with?
Kids come in, we book them.
What kind of cases are you dealing with?
We do everything, like stolen cars, gun charges, attacking their parents, just about anything that do with the youth. We deal with all of it.
So these are kids that have been charged with these crimes?
Right. Some of them be on drugs, and some of them just ain't going to school. Some don't skip court. We counsel them, and we do the paperwork and just deal with them.
I imagine some of that is rewarding.
Yes,
you see a difference?
I see a lot of kids that come in there. A lot of my friends had that same kind of background when I was coming up, so I can relate a lot to it.
Mm-hmm. You're able to help them, I'm sure, in many ways.
Yes.
And at this point, they don't know who a Richard Fuqua was or is.
If I wasn't even born.
Right, no, they weren't born, that's for sure. But these kids need that kind of counsel that you're able to give them.
And a lot of kids come in the gym and heard of me and stuff, and I go out there and mess around with them. And they'd be surprised at how I can shoot and stuff,
So how old are you today?
60.
60, and can you still shoot from mid?
I still can shoot.
From mid-court?
Yeah, I still can shoot. I guess you don't lose that.
Yeah, that's something. That's amazing. Let's talk about both of you. Basketball today. And we've just finished an NCAA tournament. We just had a game between Butler and University of Connecticut. Butler was an underdog, and University of Connecticut, they win. But the basketball of today, is it changed any? What are your comments on it?
We played one of those shot clock. Then they get the shot clock in, 'cause I guess people want to see a faster game. People didn't want to see that pass the ball for 5 minutes and stuff. People don't want to pay that kind of money and come and just watch them just pass the ball. People want to see you get up and down the court, block shots. We want to see fantastic play, shooting, dunking. You want to see an exciting game.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, yes. When I first came here, they play that slow down ball, pass the ball 4 or 5 minutes. People go to sleep in the stand. I think people liked how we played because we was
You
excited.
played as if there was a shot clock.
We was excited.
You didn't need one.
Like our first year at the Maverick Center, it was packed. All our game was packed. Because people loved what we played. How we got down the court, they come and see how many points I'm going to score. It was exciting.
Mm-hmm. Coach, you any comments about basketball today from what it was before?
I personally I don't go to the games. I don't like the way it's played. I just don't like the way it's played. I mean, that's fun because it's changed and that's the way they want to do it. And this thing of salaries, you tell me that it's worth $1 million, $2 million. It's crazy, John.
OU has just hired Lon Kruger for $2-something million. But if the money is there, Coach, why not take it?
Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because the players are the ones that are screwed. The players are the ones that screwed.
Why are they screwed?
The kids get nothing.
Do you think the players perhaps should be paid some days?
Well, I don't know. I would think probably football or all of them. I mean, there's enough money. I don't care what they get, but I'd like to see it played, that the scholarships were good. When I was in college, I was in the ROTC, and I got, I think, $25 my 2 years, and that really helped. All of these guys wearing these suits, they got the suits on, they got about 8, 9 guys sitting on the bench. There's not room for them.
You're talking about 5, 6 suited up assistants sitting there.
Oh my God, more than that.
More than that. More than that.
Yeah.
That's
More
terrible.
than that. When you were doing, you had 3.
Head coach and assistant coach, and might have a couple of kids that are working on the masters. We had a hard time getting the players because it's out in this part of the country and everything. But my goodness, you let me get up in Chicago or let me get up in some of these players, I think the 3 of us can go coach them good as they're coaching them. We can just coach them.
Well, I want you to know that you two brought a whole lot of excitement to this town. There's no question about that. And you talked earlier about teams not wanting to play you because they were afraid of being defeated. There's no question that happened. OSU, OU, and TU. But you had the run and shoot offense.
That's great, because that's right there. See, run and gun thing.
Right.
Run and gun.
Right.
No, we run and shoot.
Yeah, it was a great time of basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was proven because we was out drawing them. So, people came and watched us play instead of them.
Yeah. And that's why everybody wanted to be seen at the Mabee Center. And Oral Roberts must have been just ecstatic with you.
I really feel good about the Mabee Center.
Let me just stop you a minute, because about the Mabee Center, when it was being designed, you had an input into the way it was designed.
Okay. Frank Wallace.
And Frank Wallace is the architect.
He is the architect. So I didn't have anything to do with the architect. But everything that went in that, the dressing rooms, those seats up there, those clocks up there, came out of my head. President Roberts listened to me. The dressing rooms, that color up there, that blue, how do you think that blue got up there?
When you say up there, what do you mean? In the higher, you mean the
yes,
whole...
because now, if you turn those lights, that blue hides up there. They're gold downstairs, but all of those...
Okay.
Seats.
Right. We should point out that we've got gold seats in the lower level
Yes.
and blue in the higher level is what we have
But
here.
we can have all of the blue hidden up there. Say we got 6,000 downstairs, and they're all full. But upstairs, we don't have any today.
But you had sellouts in the Mabee Center many times, didn't you? I think it ran 10,000 people.
Yeah, when we played, yeah. And they never had since we left.
That red carpet, all of that stuff, I'm just telling you, came out of my head.
Well, it makes sense for a basketball coach to have input into a basketball arena. It's more than an arena. It's an event center is what it is.
I would have never let them put that little bitty thing. They've got a little...
Baby Mabee.
Yeah.
That they added on.
Yeah.
And they
I
were,
would have set it over.
that was used for production for television and all. The Baby
Well,
Mabee
but
was
you could still do it. I just wouldn't have had it where it's
attached to the Mabee Center.
attached, yeah. But they've made some nice things now. They've also cut them back some. But I think they've done some good things.
Well, the Green family's come in and has done a great job out there now. The David Green family, Hobby Lobby, they've infused a lot of money into this.
Bob Brooks was an awful lot of help. I really hate it because he's gone.
That's too bad. We didn't comment about the gathering of Eagles. So they've been known as the Titans, and then they switched their name to the Eagles. Why did they do that?
Here's the deal. President Roberts never did like the Titans. And I said, well, why don't you do this? I swear to you. I said, why don't we do this? I said, why don't we call them Titan/Eagles? Because we still keep the Titans in there. And I started using this, a gathering of Eagles.
That was a great slogan, though, the Gathering of Eagles.
Well, I've got those things that I had them put up there before they were all out there. And that's kind of aggravating when you've done something that made it good,
Okay.
big, And a thing like uniforms, the uniform should remain the same. They can be longer. They ought to be loose. I mean, they ought to be big.
Okay.
Out of the Tulsa World in 2008, August 31st, Jimmy Trammell said neighboring programs were more or less guilted into keeping up. If Trickey hadn't caught lightning in a bottle, would Tulsa have hired Nolan Richardson? Would Oklahoma have hired Billy Tubbs? Bill Connors once wrote that ORU's success inspired Tulsa, Arkansas, OU, and OSU to commit to better things because of what you did, and Richard, of course, performing as a player. That's a lot of credit that goes to you, too. You should feel good about that. There's a famous sport magazine article that's titled, Praise the Lord and Pass the Ball to Fuqua.
Now, I'm not sure that I had anything to do with that because I didn't think that was real good.
Oh, it's fun, Ken.
Okay,
it's just fun.
But I understand, but that was not one of my...
Well, it says here, Trickey said he never liked the title, but it paid dividends. When you first met your wife, Judy, she recognized his face from a photograph and said, hey, praise the Lord and pass the ball to Fuqua.
That right there, look at those uniforms on my man there.
And they're hot pants now, Coach. They call them hot pants.
They're hot pants now,
hot
right?
Pants now.
So you don't like these big droopy uniforms?
What? No, it wouldn't be for me. These are so darn baggy and everything. Why would you want to do it?
So it was fast started that.
Yeah.
Mr. State Boy started that.
I've got to ask you, did Henry Iba affect your coaching in any way?
I think so. I tell you what he did. A lot of people didn't know anything about me and Mr. Iba, but Mr. Iba and I had some visits. After a game one night, I'm talking to Bill Connors, and somebody mentions that Mr. Iba wants to talk to you. And I said, well, he's not here. He's down in Texas someplace. He said, no, he's here. And I said, well, golly. So I jumped up and went upstairs to see Mr. Iba. He really was nice to me, Mr. Iba was. Now, a lot of them weren't too nice to me. I don't think 87 was too nice to me. I mean, over the years. You know, he's all right. He speaks to me. Billy Tubbs, hell, I did more for Billy Tubbs. I did a lot for Billy Tubbs.
Yeah, what did you do?
Well, I got him some uniforms, and I did some stuff for Billy Tubbs.
Your first year at ORU was the last year at Oklahoma State for Henry Iba. You enjoyed talking to him.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I thought the world of him.
But he was more into defense, wasn't he? He wasn't the shooter.
Defense and slow down.
In a newspaper article later, you give 3 individuals credit for launching ORU's glory years. You give President Roberts credit. You give Dorsey Sims, who was coaching at Middle Tennessee, credit. You became his friend. And number 3, Richard Fuqua. And if there's anybody as good as Fuqua, Trickey hasn't seen him yet.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Well, he pays me to do that.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, he's the best I've ever been around.
Yeah.
Now, there's another one, Willie Brown. My God, what a player he was. He got killed. Willie Brown. He could do things and with not any effort. We were playing one night. There were some guys, they said, does he shoot the ball this far out? I'm sitting there on the sideline, and I said, do you all think he's shooting too far out? I'm talking, and the game is going on. I turned around, and I said, and I don't know what he remembers this not.
Yeah, I remember.
But
Coach,
I remember. I said, Richard, put one out there.
Yeah, I remember, Coach.
Well, he takes off on the other side, and his feet come down on this side, so he turned it loose on this other side. One time, there's some people yelling at me. Tony Hinkle, who was a great coach in Indianapolis. They're all sitting down there, and I'm sitting close, and I hear them yelling at me. The game's going on. And I walk down and sit down there beside them. There's 3 of them. You could tell they didn't know what to do. I'm now sitting down there on their bench. they said, Coach, and he's stuttering like I'm stuttering, said, don't you think you ought to go back to your team? I said, what's the score? He said, you're up 8. I said, well, you know, we're up 8. I don't need to be bothering them now. I'll just let them go ahead and play.
I do remember that about you. You would kind of leave and just walk off and let them play.
Yeah.
You did that a lot, as a matter of fact.
And talk to the crowd.
Yeah, people were thinking he's supposed to be coaching, and then because you guys were already ahead.
I had a great friend. He's an elderly guy, and I'm not even sure he's still alive. He's East Tennessee. He was a lot older. I was younger, but I was playing at this time. I looked out over there and wanted to know where the coach was. And he said, well, he'll be in here in a minute. And all of a sudden, I seen across the gym floor. I jumped over the bench and went across and walked up. My friend came down and put his arms around me and hugged me because I knew him. And everybody in the place looked at him. He was a great friend and a great coach. And stopped the game and talked to my buddy. Now, that's kind of what I'm talking about. How can you get mad?
You were kind of a showman, weren't you, Coach?
I thought it was kind of fun. All right, we're in Wisconsin. We're working out. John Pallas, who's my buddy and known him for years, he stuck his head. I said, come on in here. Now, we're getting ready to practice. We're going to have a game that night. Well, I got John Pallas in there with me. But it's a game.
Richard, sometimes at halftime, if you were behind, would Coach give a real powerful, inspirational speech, or was he real mad or come down on you hard? Or how would he do it?
It all depends. You know, we ain't hustling or not playing defense. It just depends on the situation, what he'll say to us.
But you know what else I used to do? I used to get up and go outside. And I'd leave Moose Rowe and them in there to do some talking because I knew Moose and them would just drive him crazy.
Who's Moose?
One of my assistants.
So you'd let them do the talking?
Well,
he'd talk, he'd go on. And
so I'd go outside and get me a Coke. One of the announcers one time, he said, Coach, don't you need to be with your team? I said, well, I don't know. I think we're all right. I'll just wait till the game starts. It's just a game.
Do you remember the time, this has nothing to do with basketball now, but the water out of the so-called river of life out here? Oral Roberts was saying, we're sending you water from the river of life. Mm-hmm. We went out and took a pH sample of that water, and it wasn't the same as came from ORU as they claimed.
It wasn't, okay.
And then we discovered that it actually was being bottled in Dallas, Texas. So there was the day then that Richard Roberts was going to come up to the studio and confront me about this, and you, Ken, came with him. You drove him there, probably. Richard Roberts was there, and he came into the studio to confront me about the water. Do you remember the water issue and the pH factor and all that kind of thing? He got frustrated with me, and it was about 5 minutes before the end of the hour. He says, well, I have other places to go, and he got up and walked out. I'll always remember seeing you walking out after him. I was told years ago by somebody who was close to the program, John, he said, you caught them in a flat lie that was terribly embarrassing to them. And that's what happened. We just stumbled onto the whole thing. Okay. We just had fun. We just stumbled onto it. Okay. Right. Anyway, we caught them. That's years ago, and we're way past all that now. But I didn't know if you remembered that, because you came and probably brought him in. I think you wanted in person, face-to-face with me, so maybe I would have treated him differently. But I said, Richard, this is what we did. We went out and had that water tested, and it's not the same water. And I forget what his response was.
Well, that was good.
It was great for me.
Sure, that was good. Well, it was good.
Oh, man, it was on the front page of the Tulsa World that Richard Roberts was going to come and be with me in studio. Yeah, and you brought him there.
I'd listen to you every morning, all those years.
We had fun at Oral's expense, and we did a lot of things, but I never doubted his message. I never doubted his preaching, because he was a talented man, and I agreed with his spiritual concepts. But he had a style, the things he did that was easy.
Okay.
What do you think of Richard?
Right now, I think probably he's certainly not the man his father was, and that's a difficult situation to be put into.
It's hard, too, with Dad.
It is, of anybody. When you have a one-of-a-kind man come along, to transfer that to your son or daughter is highly unusual. Richard, did you have children?
Yeah, I got 3 girls and 1 boy.
All right. Are they able to play athletics like you?
My son, at his age, I was a lot better. He's all right, but he wasn't as good as me.
You see, that's kind of the thing we're talking about here. For Richard to be another Oral Roberts, there isn't anybody who came along.
Yeah,
Franklin Graham is not what a Billy Graham was. So it's tough to expect that Richard Roberts was going to be Oral Roberts. That's really tough scene.
It is.
How old is your son?
He's 11.
What school does he go to?
Carver.
Is he playing ball there?
Yeah, he plays at Carver.
Is he a shooter too?
He can shoot, yeah.
You never know that he might turn out to be a good one.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty good now, Coach.
Yeah,
He's pretty good.
yeah,
He's pretty good now.
yeah.
Well, I want to thank both of you for doing this.
And we thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Ken.
Well, you're my buddy, John.